Welcome to the J.Geiger Studios podcast, where we help you achieve your ideal outcome. We're here to provide value to you and your organization every step of the way. I'm your host and guide on this journey, J.Geiger, and I am happy you are here with us today. Today in the studio, we have Ben Marsh, newbie to the J.Geiger team.
Yep.
Happy that you're here.
Oh, I'm super glad to be here.
Yeah, it's been like, what, how many weeks now? 2?
This is the end of week 3. We're coming up at the end of week 3. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So 2 full weeks, and tomorrow will be, and you haven't quit yet.
I don't think I'm quitting at all.
No, you've been drinking from the fire hose this whole time.
It's been a lot of information. I got here and passed the MS 900 within 6 days.
So what's I'm not sure what the MS 900 is.
Microsoft Fundamental certifications.
Okay. 9 days?
6.
6 days.
Yeah,
is that
it
a
was
record?
just like, I don't know if it's a record,
okay. Right.
but it helped working at Dell because I knew most of the basics, and then I just had to do a refresher and learn all the new stuff.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So, like many people within our team here, I've known you a lot longer than the 2-3 weeks that you've been here.
Yeah, like 20 years.
I've known you through your dad.
Yeah.
I used to work with your dad at one of our clients for quite a while. Became good friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a great mentor to me in a lot of ways. And so I don't think I met you right away, but I probably interacted with you here and there. And you were probably a kid when I first.
I had to have been.
You're a grown man now, but you're.
Sure. I mean, we'll go with that.
Okay.
But I was probably 15.
Okay.
Maybe. I remember. I mean, you and my parents have hung out at your house.
Yeah,
and
a few times.
Known them for a long time, so you've been around in the periphery, if not directly.
I think
involved.
Jordan and I went to your house one time too, didn't we? Like when we were, because we bought a sound system from your dad.
Yeah.
Were you there that day?
I probably was. Yeah.
And Will certainly was your brother.
Yeah.
So
he was there too.
Yeah. Will's a drummer too.
Yep.
Justin or Jordan. I don't know if people know this, but Jordan's an excellent drummer. And now, are you a musician? Because I know your dad's a musician.
Yeah.
And your mom sings. I don't know if she plays an instrument.
So I think the way she described it is she played guitar till she saw my dad play guitar, and then she didn't want to anymore.
Oh. Yeah, your dad is really good. I remember he showed me his guitar that he bought at a pawn shop a long time ago. And it is his prized possession.
Yeah.
A Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah, it's a Paul Reed Smith Carlos Santana Custom 22 with the birds on the fretboard and everything. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
He got it for a steal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice piece of musical equipment there. And those are such pieces of art. So, yeah, Jordan's bringing it up here on the web for us to see. Oh, yeah, with the flame front, it has that.
It's got the quilted maple, and then it's like a burnt amber color.
Yeah, I bet you it's aged a little bit.
Oh,
it's from like the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, I think he got it in the 80s. He's had it my whole life.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure you're more important than his guitar, though. Just want to make that statement here.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree with that statement.
That's good. Yeah. Do you play guitar?
I do. I started on the piano when I was like 10, and then played it for a couple years. And I was like, I want to play the musician or instrument that gets me girls. So I switched to the guitar.
Okay.
And my dad taught me some of the basics, and gave me songs to learn that gave me different techniques to master and stuff like that. And then I played it for about 2 years on like a crappy little Squier Stratocaster. It was like $180.
Sure.
And then when I was 16,
get to touch the PRS?
Well, no, he would let me play it. It was just the one was my guitar, and then he had his. And then when I turned 16, he actually gave me his Gibson Les Paul Custom as my birthday present.
Oh my gosh.
I still have it. And
that is quite a gift.
Oh, it was a fantastic gift. And I still have it, and I still play it.
Okay.
And I love it.
So do you perform anywhere ever?
I haven't. I have in the past. I mean, I have in the past. I've gone on tour with 12 Stones, which is a pretty famous Christian band.
Okay.
As one of their supporting acts. And we went around the Midwest and then down through the central United States, through Kentucky, Tennessee, and then ended in Louisiana.
I bet that was quite the experience.
It was a ride. Yeah. Let me tell you, it was a ride. It was
nights, early mornings.
Yep.
Lots of like setup, tear down practice.
Sleeping in a van.
Yep.
Yeah. It was great though. I wouldn't take it back for anything.
How long of a time did you spend doing that?
I think we were gone for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We were just on one leg of the tour, but it was an absolute blast.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. What I've found is that there's a lot of musicians in the IT industry, and I'm not sure what to like line that up with. I've got a bunch of friends in the industry who have toured, have been professional musicians, all that sort of thing. But IT is kind of their jam, to use a music term.
And I mean, my dad's exactly the same way.
Yep.
He got into computers, absolutely loved them, played guitar throughout the whole time, and maybe there's a connection. Who knows?
I have to think that isn't there. I mean, maybe. Yeah. It's in the brain.
It's got to be in the brain. So yeah, it's got to be something to do with it.
Are you a right-handed guitarist or a left-handed guitarist?
I play standard.
Standard. Okay.
So he also plays standard, even though he is left-handed.
That's
he
what
plays
I thought.
standard.
Yeah, I thought your dad was lefty, but okay, that's interesting. So how do you think music has helped your IT career, and how has your IT career helped your music career?
Okay.
Do you think there's anything there?
There probably is some kind of connection.
I didn't prep you for this, so
that's okay. Music is about order. There's a flow to it, and there's ups and downs and everything. And when I'm playing a song or learning a song or trying to write a song, you have to observe that order and kind of build it as you go.
Yep.
And I've taken coding classes in the past and courses and stuff, and there is, again, a flow and an order. So maybe it's helped my linear thinking and like thinking through the process of going from one piece to the next piece and making them all connect correctly. But I don't know. There's probably some psychological thing.
There must be. I'm sure that there is. So your journey to get here. So you've been here just about 3 weeks.
Yep.
Do we have a 3-week anniversary celebration, Jordan, for people? No. We just celebrate every day.
Right. It's always
That's
a party.
Pretty much we do. Yeah. So you've noticed that in the office there's a lot of energy and it's a positive place to hang out.
It's a great place to hang out, and I especially appreciate the fact that we have like everything open. Mm-hmm. Because it's not cubicles where everyone's just droned.
Yeah, it's open concept.
Yeah.
We have a small conference room and then 3 offices, and the offices, 2 of them are shared with 2 people, and then one of them, that's mine. I get the smallest one because I'm not sharing with anybody. But it's overall open, and our doors are generally open unless we're on meetings and stuff like that.
Right.
So I do like that. In our old place, we were split across 2 storefronts shaped like a big horseshoe, and you either had to go out the front door and back in the other front door, or you had to go around the back. And so you had the one side and the other side was all cubicles, and the one side was all open. And so it was always kind of boisterous and whatnot on the open side, kind of jamming. So
yeah, even I've never wanted to be a cubicle drone, so it's helpful to not be. And even at Dell, the way that they had it set up, instead of it being cubicles, is we had rows.
Yeah, Jordan brought up here on the
internet.
Okay,
this is what it used to look like.
So in City Center, which I've seen inside the City Center, it looks completely different. Here we're looking at where there's 3 floors, all open concept, right in the smack dab middle of the City Center. And people will remember, maybe fondly, maybe not fondly, the waterfall and the plants going up the middle. And then we were right at the top of the stairs on the 2nd floor. Okay. And when people walk by, they would see the quad TVs, which look dwarfed in there because of the scale of it. Those are the same TVs up on the wall in here.
Oh, okay.
And we just recycled the quad head, which takes the signal and splits it from 1 into 4.
Sure.
For in our office. But the left side is our original place, our original footprint. Mm-hmm. And then we moved into the right side, which I think here, that's actually a picture before we even moved into it. Yeah.
So that left side was cubicles and the right side was open concept?
Well, eventually, yeah. Okay. In this picture, the left side is all cubicles and stuff, and that's all we occupied. And then we expanded into the second back in, I think, what was that, 2022, 2021, something like that. We were just running out of space, and it was too noisy.
Yeah.
We'd have days where the office would be just chock full, and we had to make some adjustments. But Yeah. It's being redeveloped now into the Fox Commons.
Fox Commons?
Yeah, they're calling it Fox Commons. And it's basically going to have stores on the first floor to the west.
Okay.
And then it's going to have medical on the first and second floor to the right. So Mosaic Health is moving in there.
Oh, okay.
And then it's going to have student housing and entrepreneurial program on the second and third floors of everything to the west.
Okay.
And they've already torn everything out. We smelled the welding material. Were you here a couple weeks ago?
No, I didn't. I don't remember smelling it.
Yeah, the second floor was full of welding smoke.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm like, I hope it's not a fire.
Right.
But yeah, they tore everything out, stripped everything out, opened everything up down to the metal beams that are underneath all that decorative stuff that you saw in the pictures. All that's gone. And they closed off those floors in the open concept.
Okay.
And they're now building things out, and they're making windows to the front where it was all just, enclosed and no light could get in. It's going to be transformative for the downtown.
That'll be cool to see.
Not exactly the vision I was hoping for. I was hoping the entire thing was going to get converted into something that's like downtown Milwaukee, like the marketplace. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah. 3rd Street Market, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 3rd Ward.
3rd Ward, yeah.
3rd Ward Market, yeah. I was hoping for something like that. Maybe Appleton's not quite ready for that yet.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it would be a good idea, but at the same time, we got so many good restaurants down College Ave.
Yeah, we do. That's part of the benefits of being right here in the downtown, and so you've experienced that with the team.
Oh, it's been great. I've been to Bull 91. I've been to Basil's. I've been to Home Burger Bar a couple times. I'm going to Voyagers today. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. That I know I ran into one of the gentlemen who's on the leadership at ASCO downstairs, and they love it here too. They're our downstairs neighbor. Yeah, he was saying the same thing. Yeah, so your journey to get here. So again, you've only been here a few weeks. So where did your IT career kind of start? Where did you know that you wanted to do something within computers? Because you graduated from high school really early.
Yes.
You were you got to do a self-paced education program.
Yes.
That you did with homeschooling, right?
Yeah. So I was homeschooled from the end of 1st grade up. I skipped 2nd, and from 14 to 17 when I graduated, I was doing kind of like a hybrid high school college thing.
Did you get credits for that?
Yeah, actually I did. I got all the high school stuff so that we were able to work with a regional high school out of Maine, I believe it is. It's called NARS, North Atlantic Regional High School. And my mom just sent in transcripts, and they sent me back a diploma.
Okay.
But during the last chunk of my education, I was also just doing CLEP tests and Dante's, which count as college credit.
There's a CLEP test where you test out of something?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
and what's a Dante?
It's the same kind of thing.
Okay.
It's the difference between the two kinds of tests is basically just the subjects that they're offering for that kind of test.
So you proved that you had the knowledge,
right?
Therefore, you got the credit for that.
Right. So, for example, I took a U.S. History 1 and 2 CLEPs. I took both of those, and as a result, I never had to go to a history class in my entire college career.
Okay.
So those credits transferred right into the schools, and they took care of nearly all of my gen eds right away. So I didn't have to go.
Were you done with that by the time you were 17 then? You kind of took that parallel with your, okay, so you got a jump start on that as well.
Yeah, I actually started my first college degree while I was 17 years old, and my professor was very hesitant to think I would do well.
And that you were mature enough and
right,
all
exactly.
that stuff.
You know, I can understand it now, looking back and going, oh yeah, a 17-year-old might not have been ready, but it worked just fine for me. So maybe it's because I was homeschooled, because you do have to be very self-sufficient when you're homeschooled.
Disciplined.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you could like waste all your time.
Yeah, exactly.
With no structure.
Exactly. And the way that my mom kind of raised my brother and I to do that, we just powered through it. So I'd wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning and I'd be done by noon, because I just did my classes right after each other, and I didn't have a 15-20 minute gap between classes. And
like context switching, and then, or maybe like where you get your motivation to get stuff done taken away by that 15 minutes between classes.
Right, exactly. So it was just, you power through it all, and then once you're done, you do your chores and you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I think that was great.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I never went through that, never experienced it. I can imagine what that's like. I would need structure from like my parent, like what you had with your mom.
Yeah.
So
it was very helpful. And I think it actually helped me in the future as well, because being kind of raised to be self-sufficient and self-motivating to get stuff done is absolutely a quality you want in the workplace.
Right.
So you just kind of put your nose to the grindstone, power through what you need to do. If you got more, do more. Right.
So after you graduated high school and started in your college stuff, what happened after that?
It's a wild ride. It was me going to college and thinking, I want to do something with graphic design. So I got a degree in that. I got an associate's in it, and then tried to get a job with that degree for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing.
I've heard it's a saturated market with supply.
Yeah, and this was...
And the demand, I'm assuming the demand was decent, but it probably had a much higher supply than demand.
Yeah, and I was only 19 at the time, so that would have been 2011. No.
Now everybody's going to do the math on your age.
Yeah, now I have to do the math, exactly. That would have been 2011, 92, 2011. Yeah, so there was nothing here. There was nothing in the Fox Valley. I would have had to move to Madison or Milwaukee, and then it wouldn't have even been guaranteed. So I actually ended up moving down to Tennessee, and I ended up working at a camp and doing their newsletters and doing their graphic design and then doing maintenance on the side.
So you pieced together a job that involved that at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that I just kind of figured out something I could do where I could make a difference, use the skills I had, and move forward, however.
Sure. And then that took you how long? Like where did that take you to?
I was there for about 9 months, and I had to raise all my own support. It was kind of like a missionary position.
Okay.
And I eventually did run out of money, which, I expect some people want to donate to a missionary. Some people don't. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually when I did run out of money, I had to come back up here. And then I ended up that's actually kind of where I switched into the IT jobs. I had a friend who his dad was running a point of sale company here in the Valley, and they needed someone to help doing troubleshooting, installs.
Out in the field.
Yeah, out in the field, and then also tech support from home.
Sure.
So that was my first kind of transition from what I thought I was going to end up doing into what I ended up doing. And I worked there for about a year, and that's where I really did like the majority of my computer setups and my line running and troubleshooting and digging deeper into it. I'd been playing with computers since I was like 6 years old, Windows 3.1. So that ages me, I know, but it's a lot of experience.
You're not anywhere near as old as me, and I remember Windows 3.1.
It's okay though. It's okay. It's wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah. So playing around with those systems and admittedly breaking them more than once and having to have my parents pay to get the computer fixed taught me what to do and what not to do.
Yep. I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, you learn through mistakes, and don't vacuum your CPU with a nylon brush attachment for a shop vac, because that will fry it.
Because of the static.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that at 13 years old.
Yep.
I regretted not knowing that at 13 years old.
Nice. So somewhere in there you did you're like going down the path of trying criminal justice too.
Yes. So I moved back in 2012, and then in 2014 I started going to school online with Liberty University, just doing it online. And when I transitioned out of working for the local point of sale company, I actually got into a job with a company that did drive testing for AT&T. So what that entails is literally pulling up to a tower with a laptop and a spreadsheet of the different sectors of that tower and using multiple different kinds of phones and special commands on them to test the functionality of the tower, whether or not you can do a handoff, which is driving from one sector of the tower to another, testing the 911 functionality, and calling the PSAP, which is the local 911 dispatcher, multiple times, like 150 times in a night. So there was a point where if I got called back to another area that was in the same county, I'd be talking to a 911 operator that I had called 250, 300 times. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're good. So it's not, you don't have to explain what you're doing anymore at that point, because when you call 911, they obviously answer, 911, what is your emergency? And you have to explain it's not an emergency. I'm calling to test it for you guys. So that was a very interesting job. And, more technical skills, learning Android, learning the old like Blackberries and how they worked and all the special commands and stuff like that, to test the different networks. And when I was moving through that job, I eventually decided, I want to go to school full time. And that actually had me move out to Virginia, and then I didn't have any more testing to be done. So I was kind of on a hiatus from a professional job for a while till I graduated. And then when I graduated from my criminal justice degree, I moved to Nashville. And then I tried to do the criminal justice thing and tried to become a cop in Brentwood, and just didn't get hired because it's one of the most sought after positions in the whole country. And there's people who fly into Nashville to take these tests and drive halfway across the country, and
very competitive.
Very competitive. Like, 200 people sign up for 2 positions.
Wow.
And then probably 150 show up, 50 are cut from the fitness test, and then another 30 from the written test because they just don't meet the standards for Brentwood. And I got all the way to the interviews, but apparently I just didn't have either the previous experience, because there were plenty of people who were far more experienced than I was, or I wasn't fitting
whatever
what they
profile
needed.
they wanted.
Yeah,
Sure.
Exactly. So, I did that for a while, which was fine, but eventually I had to get a real job. So I ended up working for a company down in Nashville that did skip tracing. So I was kind of using
kind of criminal justice-y.
Yeah. So I was able
investigative.
Yeah, exactly. I was able to use the investigative skills that I'd learned in my schooling career, but I wasn't doing anything with like bail bonds. I was doing just car repos. So I was.
Darn, I was going to ask if there was any really awesome stories you had.
I mean,
do you have
I
stories?
do still have awesome stories.
Right, do you have one that you can share?
Sure.
Okay.
So there was.
I've been waiting for this part of the interview.
Have you? Okay. Yeah. I do. It is a pretty cool story.
Kind of saucy, these kind of things, like kind of crazy.
They can get crazy. This one involves parental kidnapping, cross state lines, and the FBI and 2 different sheriff's departments.
Wow. All right. Well,
so I get the information for a certain loan comes across my desk, and you don't really get to choose what you do. You just kind of get handed a stack of information and just do it. So they give me the loan for this RV, and this RV has been spotted in Florida, the north, like the panhandle of Florida, multiple times. And it was this woman and her boyfriend who had co-signed on it. And I've been looking for this RV for probably 2 weeks at this point. And I get a phone call at 7:30 in the morning from a tow truck driver who is one of the people who I had assigned out to look for this RV. And he's like, hey, I've been driving to the address that you said every day, and I was on my way, and the police scanner just said the address. So I wanted to let you know that the people who own that RV just kidnapped her daughter, who was supposed to be with the woman's ex-husband, and they took her somewhere. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Or are you just messing with me? I need to know. Yeah. So he's like, no, I'm 100% serious. Look it up. I look it up. Sure enough, there's a local news story that then blows up into a national news story because this woman and her boyfriend had kidnapped this woman's daughter. I say kidnapped because, I mean, it's a parental abduction. It's not like a stranger took her, but it was a parental abduction, and it violates the visitation laws.
Yep.
And
the courts take that very seriously.
Oh, 100%. There's no messing around with it. It's ironclad. You got to do what they say. So they kidnapped this girl, and they are taking her in this RV somewhere. We don't know where, But somehow we found out that these people had a 1,000 Trails subscription, which allows them to basically go to anything within the 1,000 Trails network and camp there, and it's included in their subscription, so they don't have to pay extra. So now we're looking around in all the neighboring states and in Florida to try and figure out where they could have gone.
Which one of the 1,000 Trails campgrounds they went to.
And it's like 100.
Yeah.
So we're trying to
Seems
figure
like a needle in a haystack.
It 100% was. So what actually happened was when the RV was used, it got flagged as like an Amber Alert kind of thing. And South Carolina is where it ended up, in a 1,000 Trails campground out in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. And the woman, her boyfriend, the daughter, and then the older daughter, who was the sister of the girl who had been kidnapped, are all staying in this RV. And we find out after like a day that the sheriffs know where they are, so they actually go and they raid this RV, bring the older daughter with for questioning, bring the younger daughter back to the station, bring the parent, the mother and her boyfriend in, and now there's this RV sitting in this campground empty. Yeah,
that had just been raided.
Exactly. It had just been raided. It's sitting in this campground empty. It's a 1,000 Trails thing, so they need to flip the spot. So I have to call the owner, well, not the owner, the manager of this 1,000 Trails campground and convince her that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to steal this vehicle, and I need the information on it. And they're like, well, the RVs, we need to make sure the RV isn't property of the sheriff's department because it was involved in the raid and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, so I'll call the sheriff. I'll let you know. So I call the sheriff, and they're like, oh, no, we don't need the RV. We don't need to gather evidence from it because we got the girl back. It's fine. I'm like, okay. So I call back to 1,000 Trails and say, hey, they said it's fine. You can release the RV. Do you know if the keys are still in it? And she goes, no, I don't have any idea. I'm like, okay, so do you have any idea how I could figure it out? She goes, well, the older daughter is still staying in it. She had apparently gotten done with questioning and went back to the RV to stay there because she didn't really have anywhere to go. And I was getting hopeful at this point. I was like, oh, maybe this will be easier than I think it'll be. I call this girl, and I just kind of talk to her and try and convince her to just leave the keys at the front desk. She seemed to be under the impression that I was some kind of friend of the family that was going to come pick up this RV and bring it back to Florida. Obviously, that's not the case, but I didn't really tell her anything either way. So she left in the morning with their 2 dogs. Apparently, there were 2 pit bulls that were living in this RV with them as well, and did not leave the keys at the front desk. So the repo truck, which is a giant wrecker rig, because it's an RV, because you can't just bring it back with a tow truck. This giant wrecker rig comes to pick up this RV in prep, thinking, oh, we might not need to use it, but if they didn't leave the keys, this is the way we have to go. So this giant wrecker rig comes to pick up the RV. It's locked. Keys aren't there. There's no way to put it on the wrecker without getting in and at least like opening
putting it in neutral or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to wreck it because then the bank's mad.
Right.
And then you kind of defeat the purpose of repoing it at all. So they had to drive this wrecker rig with an RV on the back through 100 miles of the South Carolina mountains. And the brakes failed on this truck.
On the wrecker. Yikes.
So he said the parking brake worked and he was able to nurse it down to a neutral position, just like a flatter area. And they were able to fix the brakes. It took me 5 days between finding out it had been used in this kidnapping to finally getting this wrecker to bring it to a spot where it could be dropped off and picked up by the bank. I got paid $75.
Wow.
5 days worth of work for that.
That's funny. But I mean, I have to imagine there's other ones that were really fast.
Yeah, there were.
Boom, boom, and I got paid whatever for.
Yeah, and so it kind of all evens out, and it's just the job's the job.
Was it fun? Was the adventure of it at least fun?
The adventure of it was fun.
$75.
Yeah, it was worth $75. I mean, I have a cool story to tell, right? Yeah. So that's worth it itself. But yeah, it was a fun job till it wasn't.
Right.
Basically, they ask you to do stuff like repo a boat from a guy whose wife supposedly bought it in the middle of fighting cancer. And I'm like, do you really think that they bought a boat in the middle of paying all these other bills?
Right.
Come on. And the bank's just like, we don't care. It's what it says. It's
Right.
the paperwork. Here you go. Do it.
And so it became very transactional and maybe
Yes.
not the best to people.
No, not at all. Not good to people at all.
Yeah, kick them when they're down.
Right, exactly.
But that is what the paperwork says.
It is what the paperwork says. So that's what I did, and the job was the job, so I did it as long as I needed to.
Totally get it. So then I know you had experience doing the same kind of PC support and network support and modern workplace support.
Yes.
That you've been doing. Where'd you get most of that?
So I got that through my own trial and error, like I said before, and then helping out people that my dad knew, that I knew, with random computer problems. And then I also worked for a company here in the Valley. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name.
Can say.
Okay,
Yep.
it's Tech Guides.
Yeah.
And they're great. They really are. They're great at what they do. They're a great bunch of people, and they taught me a lot. Like all the admin stuff that I hadn't learned before because I wasn't in a work environment with like Active Directory and
it just eventually got to a point where they decided that they were going to scale down.
Right.
And so
I mean, it's the middle of a recession and you got to pay bills and you got to stay in the black, and I get it.
Yep.
So
they had to do more with less. And
yeah, exactly.
And that meant you ended up losing your job.
Yeah, but in the end, obviously it worked out.
Yeah.
I'm here, which is great.
We're 3 weeks in. So
right, we're 3 weeks in. We're 3 weeks in, and we're real hopeful and move forward and go up.
Yeah. So where do you see this going?
I see this as a career.
Yeah.
I see this as the first step to the last stop, realistically, because I'm not only really enjoying the people that I'm here to work with, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah, and this is a new venture for us. We had with the modern workplace and all that sort of thing, we've been doing that for about, like, for ourselves for a couple of years, for customers for a little over a year or so.
Sure.
And we've been filling a niche that I don't think has been getting filled, which is providing support in an ad hoc fashion to businesses so that they can manage, not having to pay a large subscription or large upfront or a retainer or anything like that. It's basically all ad hoc and gives them the flexibility to manage what they need. So we've been helping out some companies that are scaling, and they're basically upstarts, and they have to scale, and they probably don't want to hire someone full time. They probably don't want to, engage with a large company, and and they don't want a recurring cost that doesn't provide benefit all the time.
Right.
So there's a big upside to that. And you're the latest addition to that team.
Yeah, so far.
And I'm pretty excited about where that's going. Because traditionally we did stuff on contract, typically 3-month, 6-month type of contracts and stuff like that for our people.
Like custom software building,
custom
and development.
Software, implementing ERP systems, project managers. That's kind of the lion's share of that. But the volume has been lately with this, and we're finding a huge appetite for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for any businesses out there that happen to be listening, if you're looking for an IT guy, if you're looking for an IT resource, we basically make the skills of our entire team available to all the businesses in an ad hoc fashion.
Yep.
So, and we've got a pretty good track record of that. We actually have the ticketing system and the support side of that dialed in. We've been doing that for several years now through a different mechanism for our other services,
right.
and we've applied that to this. So it's been a lot of fun. So with your career here, you're looking at going the delivery and modern workplace and working in the cloud on devices. And the one thing we do, I heard you talk about cellular before.
Yes,
we have that in house.
Yep.
We've got devices that we can requisition and deliver. You mentioned something about POC. Or POS
systems, yeah.
POS systems. So we do we have some partnerships with some credit card companies and stuff like that, which they're all they're fledgling, and we're going to we're going to
build them. We're going to build them. That's the plan.
Yeah, exactly. So where do you see that dovetailing with your career?
I don't know how much of the cellular will be part of what I'm doing. I don't even know how I'm going to pivot. It's a giant fishbowl to work in. And there's so many options. So,
and you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into any one thing, which is kind of cool.
Exactly. So working here, I get to be a jack of all trades and learn all the different things. And then if I find something that I can do that maybe someone else can't,
you can specialize.
I can specialize in like the physical security stuff or penetration testing or like ethical hacking, stuff like that to improve company security. And that's something that I do really find interesting. I mean, most people probably would, but
it's for sure. We haven't ventured on those routes before, but not to say that we wouldn't.
I feel like it would be a pretty good market. I don't know anyone else here.
We do the like security side of things, and we provide our customers with a security score based on where they are within the platform that they're on, like Google or Microsoft. So do you see yourself growing into a point where you're growing a team, or do you see yourself being in a position where you're becoming a specialist and kind of like the knowledge expert in an area?
I don't know, kind of both.
Okay.
Because I don't know if any one person can fill all the positions on a certain role. Like, even if I were to specialize and become like a subject matter expert on the penetration testing, white hat stuff, I would still need other people to be helping me.
Sure.
So I would love to leave a team someday. I mean, I don't know how far down the road that is, but
I mean, you never know. Sometimes stuff moves pretty quick.
Right, exactly. And I would love to lead a team. I feel like it would be a great experience, and I feel like a team of me's would have a lot to offer our clients in the way of really helping them move forward, because I believe that we don't succeed if our clients don't succeed. So I feel like that would be...
Yeah, we're here to be enablers, and we're here to provide value.
Exactly.
So, some people just aren't interested in the team side of things. They want to focus on being the expert, and they don't want any of the team lead people. I'll say management, although we're not really a management structure.
Leadership positions.
Exactly. They're not really interested in that part, navigating the personal side. They'd rather just be experts and provide that expertise. And I respect both.
Right.
There's no value judgment to either. But I'm glad to hear that you're looking to be, in that. And we do have a lot of really great things coming within that. It's new to the team, new to me to a degree, but we're partnering with the Patrick Lencioni and the things that they offer, and they're I forget the name of the overall umbrella company, but it's a leadership platform that we can subscribe to, get certified in, and then we can provide that leadership training, and then performing DISC assessments, and which is helping people understand what type of person they are, like how they want to communicate with other people and how they want to work, and then helping them understand the other people and where they're coming from.
Sure.
Because a lot of times we have these, conflicts and things like that. We don't know how to deal with them, and we're bypassing each other, and it's because we lack understanding. So we're embarking on that, both to consume and use internally to make us better, but then also to provide that to our customers as well.
Yeah, and that's fantastic.
So really looking forward to that. Yeah, and looking forward to where this is going and your impact on the team within our managed solutions practice. Yeah. So welcome again.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You here. And,
I'm very glad to be here.
I'm certain, that it's going to end up being a great opportunity for you and a great opportunity for us as well.
That's what I'm hoping.
I think it's kind of a perfect storm here.
It really was because with when I had gotten downsized before, I put in 150 job applications, and you're underqualified, you're overqualified, we want you to be on call 24/7 and driving to Green Bay at a moment's notice, this, that, and the other thing. And then I talked to you guys, and it was just a perfect fit.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. You mean you're not on call 24/7?
I mean, I am on call 24/7 but it's usually not Green Bay. Right. It's not just me.
Right.
Which is, it's helpful. But I am on call 24/7. Phone rings, I answer it.
Yeah, that is kind of a new thing for us too. And as the team gets bigger, we'll have more shared in that. But out of the gate, we have to help our customers succeed. And the more customers we add to that, the more people we can spread it over. So it'll make it easier and easier as we go on. You could delegate to your team then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ben. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely love to.
I had a great time chatting with you. I love the fact that you're a lifelong learner, I think.
Yeah,
and
I have to be. I feel like if I don't learn something in a day, I really kind of wasted the day. So
yeah, I think it's great that you're a musician too. I envy that because I never picked up a instrument and,
there's always
kept
chances.
it. I know people who are starting to learn to play drums right now at almost not quite my age, but pretty close.
Yeah.
So
you could always learn
time.
something that you can take with you, like a harmonica.
Yep.
Like you can learn it, you can bring it wherever you are. You can annoy people till you learn how to play it.
There's a funny joke about that. I do have one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my wife teases me because like when I play it, it's almost like the same song comes out every time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so she says, from a movie quote, don't you know any other gall darn tune?
Right.
If you don't know, that's from Chris Farley movie, R.I.P. Chris Farley.
Yeah, so he was a legend.
It was one of his last movies that he did. It was one of the dumbest movies. But I find it funny.
Is there a not dumb movie that he did?
I don't think so. They're all pretty dumb.
They're all pretty dumb. I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
I appreciate them greatly, but they're all pretty dumb.
Yeah, what was that one called? Almost Heroes.
That's
right. Almost Heroes.
Yes.
It might have even not been released. It might have been released posthumously for him.
It might have been.
I'm not sure, but it's based on Lewis and Clark, and it is a parody, and it is so dumb, but it is somewhat historically accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jordan's looking up when Chris Farley passed away and when Almost Heroes was released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 98.
Yeah, he started with Matt from Friends. Yeah, so
it was.
Yeah,
it was released.
Yeah, almost. It was like 6 months after he died. It was released. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a legend.
Yep.
But yeah, it was entertaining talking with you. I really appreciate it. You have quite a story of how you got where you are today. And one of the things I tell people is like the path to get to where you're going isn't always a straight line.
It absolutely was not a straight line for me.
And if you're expecting life to be a straight line, you're going to stress yourself out needlessly because it's not going to be a straight line.
100%. And if anybody's listening to this who doesn't really know what they want to do when they grow up, you can still figure it out.
That's right.
You got time.
That's right. Absolutely. Lifelong learner. All right. Well, we are so glad you were able to join us today. Make sure to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exciting content. Reach out to us if you have any topic that you'd like to hear us discuss, whether it's IT related or not. Go out on our website, which is www.jgeigerconsulting.com, and fill out a request on there. Reach out to us. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. As you chart your course to your next destination, may your journey be filled with purpose and confidence. Until then, stay true to your compass.